The disrespect is real, my friends. Welcome into this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. On today's show, we're going to tell you the news, not necessarily you want to hear, but what you need to hear. Why Seattle is being slept on and disrespected across the National Football League and within the mainstream media. We'll go over everything you need to know here in just a matter of moments. Before we do, all June long, we are in a like battle with the 49ers report. We're trying to see who can get the most likes on their respective videos between these two NFC West rivals. We want to prove that we not only have the best fans in the NFC West, but the best fans in the National Football League. And I want to stick it to Chase Sr. He's been talking a lot of smack on the 12s. And we beat them the last time these two teams played on the football field. We finished higher than them in the division. Let's keep it up. Hit that like button. Let's stick it to the 49ers report, and we'll get started with today's show. Now, let me make one thing clear. This is what other people are saying. This is not what I'm saying. I'm just here to react to it, folks. Let's start at the quarterback position. I believe that there are a lot of haters and losers out there that have a lack of trust in Sam Darnold. Now, let me add this. I totally get where they're coming from. You have one sample size of very good work from Sam Darnold in his career. Otherwise, his tenure in New York was a disaster. His run with Carolina was not good at all. He was a backup in San Francisco. Minnesota, a lot of good weapons to work with. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson. There's a number of quarterbacks that would have played pretty well in Minnesota last year. So I understand where they're coming from. But I am of the belief that Sam has turned a corner here. That the version that we saw in 2025 is here to stay. That he was in awful situations with the Jets and the Panthers. And too many times we've seen teams give up on quarterbacks because of the situation they were in. And it ruined their careers. And I think that's what almost happened to Sam Darnold. Had he not got the chance in Minnesota, he very well never been a starter again and gotten that opportunity. I think that he is going to show that last season wasn't a fluke. Now, I understand it was far from perfect, especially the final stretch of the season for Sam Darnold. It was a disaster what happened in that playoff game against the LA Rams. But to me, there's a whole lot more good than bad. Last year, threw for 35 touchdowns, over 4,300 yards, 12 interceptions, a quarterback rating of over 100. Sam Darnold, I think, is going to have a fantastic season. Although his weapons in Seattle are not as good as what they were in Minnesota, he is still in a much better situation as a starting QB now than what he was in Carolina or New York. And the analogy I point to as a NASCAR fan, I look at it like Jeff Burton, former driver of the number 31 Singular Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. You give Jeff Burton a good car and a good crew chief, Jeff Burton's going to go out there and win races for you. But if you don't give Jeff Burton what he needed, it wasn't going to go well. Sam Darnold, he's a Jeff Burton. He's not a Jimmy Johnson. He's not Jeff Gordon. That's okay. I'm not paying him to be Jimmy Johnson or Jeff Gordon. I'm paying for Jeff Burton. And if I give Jeff Burton what he needs, Jeff Burton's going to deliver me wins. And that's what Seattle finds themselves in. They got Jeff Burton here, and I think that's going to be okay. Do you trust Sam Darnold? Keep it real with me, 12s. It's our pinned comment today. Type T for trust, NT for not trust. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. Get your votes in. Let me know what you think. Number 2 on why the Seahawks are being slept on is the offensive line. The offensive line in 2024 was one of the absolute worst offensive lines in the National Football League. I know that. You know that. Everyone knows that. And then when you looked into the offseason of how they addressed it, there wasn't any big free agency signings. They were interested in a couple of guys, but it ultimately didn't happen. They did not sign anybody. And their biggest addition is a rookie left guard in Grey Zabel. Now, I'm very high on Grey Zabel, and I think Grey Zabel can be a quality starter immediately, but that is still asking a lot from Grey Zabel to get the job done immediately and to develop very fast, especially making a jump from the FCS level all the way to the National Football League. There will be a learning curve of sorts. Charles Cross, I think, is fantastic at the left tackle position. Olu, some people have some question marks, although I thought he was better towards the end of the season. You don't know what the hell is going to happen to the right guard spot. And then Abe Lucas at the right tackle position. We know that when Abe's out there, he's a quality right tackle in this league. But can Abe stay healthy? He's not 100% healthy right now. He's playing. That's a good sign. He's putting the work in the weight room. He's a lean, mean 320 now. But is that going to hold up? I don't know, honestly speaking. And then you take a step further. You don't really have a whole lot of depth either. If you lose Lucas or Cross, then you're in big trouble at the tackle position. The guard spot, we mentioned you're relying on Zabel there, but Bradford, Haynes, we haven't seen much from those guys. Jalen Sundle, a former UDFA, is starting to get some reps with the first team at center, competing with Olu a bit in OTAs. I don't know if that's necessarily a good sign for Olu at this point. There's just a lot of unanswered questions. I think it will be improved, but it doesn't necessarily mean this offensive line is going to be great by any stretch of the imagination. That's just the reality of it here, folks. People doubt this offensive line. They have something to prove. We are covering the Seattle Seahawks each and every day on Seahawks Today as we bring you daily news and rumors. We also have weekly live shows every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We are talking all things Seattle Seahawks. We got you covered each and every day on the channel, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day. What do you have to lose, folks? It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. Subscribe now. Stay up to date with everything happening on your Hawks. We're talking OTAs, minicamp, training camp, and more here on the channel. Doesn't cost you a thing. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV to subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. Number 3 on reasons why the Seahawks are being slept on. You are replacing Geno Smith, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. 3 names that have been very synonymous with this Seahawks team over the last few seasons. DK, one of the top receivers in football. Lockett has had a fantastic career. And Geno Smith was a quality starting quarterback the last few seasons. That's a big undertaking for any team to move on from 3 noteworthy players. Whether you agreed with the decision or not, that is a massive change that you're asking. And most teams in that type of circumstance, moving on from 3 big players on your offense of that caliber, would take a step back. I think replacing Smith and Lockett, you're going to be fine there right away. Tyler Lockett was kind of phased out of the offense, and his numbers had started to go down a lot year by year. Geno Smith, I think, going to Sam Darnold is going to be an upgrade, and he's younger and cheaper. We've talked about that in the past. Now, the DK situation, you don't necessarily have a go-to X receiver right now to replace that production of DK Metcalf. It is not going to be one guy replacing DK Metcalf here. All right, JSN is going to take on a larger role, but he's still more of a slot. He's not the same type of receiver that DK Metcalf is. Cooper Kupp is a slot guy. MVS, I have a lot of concerns about, and he doesn't have the production of DK. Hell, we've even heard Clint Kubiak talk about Elijah Arroyo, the rookie tight end, maybe even playing some X receiver to potentially replace DK here. This is a long-term play when it comes to DK. You might take a step back in the short term, but that money you're saving on DK can be used on other things, and then you got that second-round pick out of it as well that you use in this draft. Overall, you look at the offseason for Seattle, there's still time to make even more improvements. You got close to $32 million in cap space at this point in time. I don't think that it's reason to be concerned that you're sitting here like, oh no, we lose 3 of our most notable names. What are we going to do now? I think you're going to be okay, but it might not be overnight on the DK thing. That might take a little more time. What do you think the Seahawks record will be in 2025? Year number 2 for Mike Macdonald. We're going to be talking about him in just a moment. What's your prediction? Weigh in the comment section. I said 11-6 was my official record prediction. What say you? Weigh in and let us know. Number 4 on our list of why, there we go, 4. Seattle is being slept on. And I think this more has to do with the national media that's continuing to ignore this Seahawks team and undermine them, is the lack of household names. If you ask the average fan to name who's on the Seahawks roster outside of Seattle fans, they probably wouldn't be able to name too many of these guys. It doesn't mean that they have bad players by any stretch of the imagination, but they don't have necessarily a ton of guys that have made a big impact for a long time. People on the outside don't really know what's going on in Seattle. It is a very good, best-kept secret is how I would describe how things are going on. And the changes that we've seen with this Seahawks team, with how John Schneider has retooled the roster, it's not a rebuild. It is a reload, as it is a changing of the guard. I was thinking about this as I was writing this segment and putting it together, folks. Who are some of the more notable Seahawks on this roster right now? These are the 5 names I came up with as the most notable. Sam Darnold. He's a former top 2 overall pick. Cooper Kupp. We know about his Triple Crown season, helping lead the Rams to a Super Bowl. JSN was a Pro Bowler last year. Devin Witherspoon's a Pro Bowler. And Leonard Williams, even him, is probably one of the most underrated players in the entire NFL. But beyond those 5, is anybody really big household names? It's just something that people don't know about. And as people get to learn and know more about this Seahawks team, I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised. Folks, we got a great deal for you. We got Nike Seahawks T-shirts on sale now for just $15.99. Nike gear, folks. $15.99. What a deal. Look, it's getting hot outside. I know you guys want to wear T-shirts. You wanted to rep your favorite team. Why not do so with the Seahawks T-shirt? And you can get it all in one place. Chatsports.com/Seahawks T. We have every size you could think of as well at that same link. Chatsports.com/Seahawks T to get yours today. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Other Seahawks merchandise available for your liking. Go check it out now. You'll be glad you did. Last on our list of why I think people are sleeping on the Seahawks, it's their second-year head coach, Mike Macdonald. And kind of similar for the same reasons of lack of household names. I don't know how many people outside of Seattle realize what Mike Macdonald is doing with this Seahawks organization. If you were to ask the average fan or people just around the NFL, I think they'd be asking themselves, who? Who's Mike Macdonald? Who's Mike Jones? Like, I think people wonder, like, oh, the guy that replaced Pete Carroll? The former Ravens defensive coordinator? Yeah, I don't know much about him. I think that would be kind of the feeling that there is an unknown here. And here's another thing, too, that some people might have some doubts about Mike Macdonald in year 2. He already fired his offensive coordinator after winning 10 games. Now, while I think that was the right decision, and I think that he made a good choice in who he hired, doubt is going to creep in to people's minds of, oh, wait. So he's supposed to be all that in a bag of chips, but he already whiffed on his first OC hire? Not a great sign. Whether that's justified or not, that's what people are saying. And I think another thing, too, when we talk about the first-year head coaches last year, although it wasn't his first time being a head coach, it was his first year with a new team, as good of a year Mike Macdonald had in Seattle, he was not the most talked about first-year head coach. It was Dan Quinn, who Seattle passed on, and he ended up taking the Commanders' job, and the Commanders went to the NFC Championship game. And all the talk has been about Dan Quinn and what they're doing in Washington, and people are ignoring the job that Mike Macdonald did in his first season in Seattle. Folks, let's talk Mike Mac for a moment. All right? As much as everybody wants to talk Dan Quinn, we cannot ignore how good of a job Mike Macdonald did last season. First coach in franchise history to win 10 games in his first season. A 10-7 record. Oh, yeah, and he's still young, too. Second youngest head coach in the NFL, only ahead of Kellen Moore, who's now with the New Orleans Saints here. Look, Mike is not going to be perfect. He's going to make decisions that you don't like, that you are going to disagree with, and that's okay. And Mike is still learning on the job, too. What is it? You got to be young and stupid to be old and wise? I'm not calling Mike Macdonald stupid by any stretch of the imagination. Don't take me out of context. But this is going to be a learning curve. And I think Mike Macdonald, as the years go by, is only going to become a better head coach. Do you believe in Mike Macdonald? You got two options here. Type B for believe, D for don't. Sign off in the comments section and tell me what you think. If you enjoyed today's show, you already know what to do. Hit that like button. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today.